Hello, my beautiful people. I think it's funny to say that because I wouldn't ever talk like that when I was younger. And when I was in my early 20s, this friend started calling me that, and it just touched my heart. It's like, oh, hey, she thinks I'm beautiful. So I love those terms of endearment. So I wanted to say that to you guys. So this is funny. Before I jumped on today, I just have to tell you because my daughter was talking shit about me basically taking up too much time and lagging because she wants me to watch this movie, and basically she's like, I know you have to get ready for your 15 subscribers. And I wanted to call her a bitch because actually I have 69. Stupid. Anyway, what I have to say about that is that since I have not been able to really connect with anybody to build my channel, and it just takes another level of commitment, that's why it is what it is and is slowly growing. So really, I don't give a care at this moment in time because I know that, of course, I care, but I'm not going to stress and trip out on it because I'm going to be here basically for whoever needs me. Okay, people in life. So really the getting the likes and all those sorts of things, which I think for my line of what I'm doing now, it's not really I guess the thumbs up thing, but it's not really a, I don't know, I guess to say how can you not like something if somebody's telling a story based on their life experience? So it's from their personal perspective. So as far as not liking it, I mean, maybe they wouldn't like something in my coaching series, but I don't know. I'm not here to talk shit about people and in any way or matter. I'm not trying to do that. And with that being said, going into this video of what I want to talk about today is that every time something comes up that inspires me for a show like this, I want you all to know, while it can sound really juicy and you think that Nora Finch is going to come out with some basically her deep personal sorts of things. While I could write a book on that, I am not going to share certain things that go on with me that also is mental fuckery, because while I know it's all connected, there is crazy shit that happens to me. And so, and just all sorts of stories and just different misinterpretations people could have about me and intentions. And unless you know me, you are going to find out where my heart is, okay, and my love of serving. So I am here to help all of you by sharing my life experiences. Yes, I will throw my examples in there. Yes, I will give my opinions. But overall, I'm trying to help you find out the truth for you, your personal reality, and all of these things that I talk about, cultural conditioning and all of that, is a lot of what stems, like, has facilitated, I guess, not facilitated, has been in my background of what I know about the world. And not a lot of it was taught in the home. You would have thought, I talk about my love, my love concepts and stuff like that. I had a good foundation there. Yes, I had, a mom with some personality disorders and things like that, but I didn't grow up with her. And so, I don't know. I think it was modeled good for me in the home. So that goes into what I wanted to talk about today. And, we listen to all this advice from other people, if it's careers or relationships or whatever it is, or just life, and we may not understand them, or I feel like sometimes too, the opinions are very, I don't want to say general, it's almost like a parenting thing. Like, again, a cultural standard, like, okay, parenting, don't sleep with your kid, don't do this or that, wait till they become a teenager. I could go on and on talking about this, but the general advice out there on certain things is just general. And just like self-love, there were no specifics. There were no, what do you mean? There were no, even when relationships, when people would say things like, oh, just wait till you're sleeping in separate rooms. Like, it was very difficult to see ahead, right? And how you're going to feel in your relationships, any of them, right? So I was thinking hard about what I wanted to say today because of, this interaction with somebody today that inspired this, is that what am I trying to achieve? What I want to share with you. It wasn't just to share some juicy thought that I had because the statement sounded juicy, right? Okay, so I will explain. So, so relationships, mindset, what am I talking about? I think a lot of us getting into any relationship, we don't know how much they're going to grow. We don't the other person, how we're going to grow, how life is going to evolve. We have an idea in our mind of maybe, like I said, some people marry for love. They have different ideas. Maybe relationships start out in love and then they turn a different direction. People break up for so many different reasons, people, and it doesn't work out. It could be health problems. It could be whatever, right? Okay. So not being able to communicate properly and they just don't end up working out. Sometimes they fulfill, like I said, a contract. You're supposed to just have a kid with that person, you're supposed to learn those lessons and you move on. Okay, but I do still believe that true love wins in the end. Okay, so there's no guarantee and they are risks, and this is why I always encourage all of us to continue working on ourselves, okay? And moving forward, I think there's an audience still of a lot of people that don't want to be alone, right? And that's why they stay in relationships or get in ones that maybe aren't good for them, ideally, right? Positive. So I understand that, but there's also a lot of people that are very independent. They have they males and female friends opposite sex. They have their own things. They don't actually care about getting married. They want to travel the world. This is a lot of the young people. They don't want to get married at all. So there's also that collection of people. Okay, so but what I wanted to say, okay, relationships are a risk, right? You don't know from moment to moment something can happen, just like physical death. Okay, so the not what I thought. So relationships, this is on that whole thing, not what I thought. The illusion, like I just said, about not thinking ahead, not predicting what's going to happen. Okay. So today, this is what happened is that basically I ran into somebody that I remember that I had a short conversation with his wife, and I don't know all the details of their relationship. I just know they're both really busy. They travel a lot. I don't know how much they're home. Maybe they are, or one of them is home, but I know they've been together probably at least like 12, 13, 14 years or something like that. And of course, in any relationship, they're the people we are going to go through stuff after that long. So certain things about your mindset in one person or the other, right? Growing together, or maybe one person is growing ahead of the other, whatever it is. Um, maybe they used to be like super jealous, and then over time, they just learned to release control. Because if you look at that uh, conditioning, or just that topic, is that you can't control what anybody is going to do. So if you are wanting to be able to control somebody, good luck to you, and you will probably, you will find that, because that's what you wanted, if that is what you want. And again, like I said, some people like that. They want that. Makes them feel secure and good. So whatever the relationship, whatever it works for the couple, right? Okay. So so I didn't know exactly how the relationship works. I know that she was kind of more independent and more kind of, uh, I don't know to say serious, just kind of more extroverted, a little bit more extroverted. Um, and then he is more of as far as I know, a little bit more introverted, a little bit more, um, it's not needy or clingy. It could just be just more of the softy, more of the probably wants to, take a nap with you. And I like to do that stuff too. But it wants to like do romantic things or something like that. Or I could give other examples. But basically, I just remember her saying, and it cracked me up because she was so open. She was basically, I think she was talking about maybe how long they've been together, or do they spend that much time together. It was some sort of conversation. But basically, her mindset was just like, well, yeah, at this point, I'm not even sure if I'd care if he slept with you. And I was all, oh, wow. So, not that there was an interest, this is the part I told you that sounds like it's really juicy. We weren't talking about anything about having, intimate, like, interest or anything. I think she was basically just saying she is at that point in life that she kind of wouldn't mind or doesn't care. Now, you like I said, you never know people's situations, right? Maybe 2 people are not having sex as much or whatever the thing is going on with them. Maybe it started in love, maybe she just doesn't like being intimate anymore. Like, there's all these things, right? I think people have a go to when they hear something like that. It could be just like, oh, she doesn't love him, or she's acting like a bee, or just like, there's so many things that you can judge people's comments on, their opinions, whatever it is, even a person like me, right? Sounding like too free spirited or whatever it is. And you kind of have to get to know me and hear what I talk about, and knowing the deep substance in life that I seek deep substance, and I love learning about others. So the intrigue. And so a lot of you may not know, all over my 20 years in the holistic world, I've talked to a lot of people, and not necessarily out there in the world. It's just my clients. So yes, they would say things like that, like, wait till you're sleeping in certain beds, or having only one child. Well, I don't think that that's very, what did she say? This older lady. I don't think she said it was being selfish. She said something like fair to the child. And I just thought that that was messed up, because you never know that somebody just could not have more than one. And that wasn't my situation. We just knew we only wanted one. So I think making judgments on other people's lives, I've heard all sorts of things, and I've talked about a little bit about how a lot of clients I've talked to, um, most of them, I guess, either said like they wanted kids or wanted the big white, dress and the wedding and the diamond ring. Even though they were a low maintenance crowd, they kind of always knew. So I was part of that rare breed of people where I wasn't just always thinking about it and focused on it, as my goal. So bringing this up today, I guess it's a little bit to say, like, being, yes, understanding of other people's situations, and why I think it's good for all of us to support. Because after she said that, then I also felt empathy for him, because what if he was also just feeling sad about his relationship changing and becoming like that? Maybe that's not something that he wants. And she's like, she would just, just say that she was of an attitude like, oh, I don't care, whatever, he can do what he wants. Like, that might not make him feel loved, which connected to another story today that I was watching on Shameless, about Veronica being upset with Kevin giving too much attention to the babies. And which I could go on and on talk about. But basically, she was upset with him and she wanted a break. And it made me feel sad for him, because I also have heard and known this to be true too, that of course, your relationship, things are going to happen and things are going to do things to shake it up, rock the boat, affect it, including parenting, and parenting to include that you parent differently. So, in this example, the kids are getting more attention, so she's feeling left out and maybe selfish or whatever. Yes, she should. I like it that she's like stating her needs, like, hey, this, I need you, or whatever it is, or we're not connecting as much. I actually admire being able to speak up like that, because I've just had problems with that. But the point is, people, these different situations, whether it's a kid or your job or taking away from the relationship, okay? And so, and again, having more kids can also do that, right? So, this I know, again, is getting to the complications of relationships. So having empathy for others in these situations on the other side. There's always, like they say, two sides of the story, and people want to jump on the other person or attack the other person and say what's wrong with them, why'd they do this, or whatever, or you should break up, right? That's, again, to me, a cultural thing. It's immediately, why? you should be careful about who you talk to, because I think a lot of people jump on that whole you should divorce them, you should break up with them, whatever it is, and then the gossiping starts into that whole thing, and it's really not supportive of, you know, maybe that person wants to stay with that person, they love them, or they just want to stay with them, you know? So I would be more like asking questions like how to get through this, what you can do to, and talking doesn't always solve anything, but it does help. And so that's also why I've had to do a lot of prayer work. I just, had to do it on within myself to manage certain things. And so down the road in our relationships is that it sounds really simple. I feel like people would be like, duh, Nora, people grow. Like, yeah, like, but when you're in that land of tunnel vision, some people might say love, and love has, that's the topic of, everybody has a different idea of that. And some people think that they're in love, but it's actually lusting. And I need to do a show on that maybe in the future. But you're in this tunnel vision. You are, if you want to say honeymoon stage or whatever it is, tunnel vision, you see it only in this way. You're feeling good. You haven't gone through too much shit. And you think it's going to be like this. Almost like parenting. I feel like as soon as you get used to some aspect of parenting, it changes. So don't get used to any one thing. And really letting go and going with the flow of life is in those stages and moments is really all you can do, because you probably heard this before, trying to control these situations. Go ahead and try to control and see what happens. So relationships, platonic or romantic, take effort. This is the work, people. Some people are willing to put in the work. Some people are not. Some people do it and it still may not work out. So that's why I constantly say, like, I say that it's work, putting in the work if you want to. It's not to break up and then go and continue into another relationship, repeating the pattern. Okay, I don't see how that is. It is a solution for a lot of people, but for me, that's what would end up happening. Right, you're going to repeat the same patterns, especially if you keep picking the same person, but now they are in a different costume, I like to say. So we're looking at, to close, we are looking at everybody's lives, I think, in a certain level of perfection, because we are seeing them happy in pictures or at that moment in time. They seem like it's perfect. When we say perfect, as in they are happy all the time, everything is content. Material goods, I mean, looking at the material or not, you're seeing the people function happening happy. You think that's how it is all the time, which why would we think that? Number one, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We know ourselves that we have up and down moments of happiness, and you're hearing about something bad on either the news or somebody around you is getting sick or whatever the reason is, or people not being good to each other. Why would we even think that? So there is some illusion in our mind, in something probably created in media, that has put some sort of association on what it looks like to be happy and happiness as a final destination. That's the only thing that I can think of, is that why would we think that other people are, their lives are, in what we say, perfect, no problems, because they are not showing it. Maybe it is some sort of something that also we associate with, okay, if that person is acting like that, having those problems, if they are depressed or something bad happens or whatever it is, we are expecting them to look depressed, complain, act a certain way, and we're used to seeing that in people's behavior. Maybe that's also why we're doing it. I don't know. That's all I came up with for this moment, because I feel like I keep coming back to that answer whenever I say, why do we think other people's lives are perfect? And just, it's still fascinating to me to this day. I've never believed that money like they say, like money buys happiness or anything. I've always looked at all of these things as temporary. All of these things, buying things, um, again, happiness moments, because it changes. So that's what I mean about the ebb and the flow, and just going with things in life, and not being feeling like all you can do is be content within yourself, and not expecting a person or something else to be always making you happy, right? When we are happy inside with ourselves, then we can be happy in any situation. That can sound confusing too, because again, something else happens to rock our world. And so to recap, just remembering, people, that our relationships, the whole thing is a risk. Uh, don't think the person isn't going to change. We aren't going to have moments, and just being supportive of each other, being a friend, and listening to them. And yeah, I know that that comment that I told you, that's not really like funny, but I think that why it's funny is because it's not a statement of like, I don't know to use the word aloof, but like you don't care. I think it's this sense of freedom. It's a freedom way of thinking, but the freedom way of thinking has to be within your relationship, of that kind of a, maybe it is a sense of detachment. It's like you just feel there's a sense of freedom. But like I said, the other person has to be on the same page, in the sense of, I know that's a sexual reference, the statement I give, but I think because that's been so ingrained in our culture to think, again, that marriage is one way, you're going to feel a certain way, you're going to be with only that one person, you only like that one person, and it's not even in the realm of that you could like, be attracted, or love anybody else. And I guess that's also what I want to say, because loving somebody else doesn't necessarily mean sexing all over the place and all those sorts of things, right? And I think culturally, because of what I've learned, that is a good example and statement of her saying that, like, maybe she still, of course, truly loves him. All of these sorts of things, it has nothing to do with that, other than she is able to separate it. Okay, is really maybe all that she meant. And I could follow up and ask her the next time I see her what she meant. And it may be the exact opposite of what I am saying. Maybe like we're saying, like, she loves him on a very superficial level, and she's always felt like that. So she wouldn't even care if he from the beginning was acting like that, you know? That could be like that too. Open relationship from the very beginning. So, different strokes for different folks. And sorry that I kept itching. I think I'm having an allergic reaction to something that I was taking, because I've just been itching all over nonstop. I have so many scratches, almost bruises. So I will see you in the next video. And yes, I need to talk about holistic health more, and healing the body and all that sorts of stuff, and what we ingest, and how organic is whack. Just joking. Um, is it has its benefits, but being so crazy and consumed with eating and purchasing like that can really just, get out of control, in my opinion. And just a lot of stuff I've learned over the past 20 years when it comes to health. It's like, what are we doing? We're just trying to stay alive longer. What's going on here? Okay, so I hope this provided some value to you. I know I said I was going to close way back then. Just always know when I say I'm going to close, it's going to be like 5 minutes after I close, till I close. Okay, so I will talk to you soon, and thank you for listening.